Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes, or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a mullet.
Not at news time, kids.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Electric Mullet. We're home for 80s and 90s Superman comics. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, Superman's number one pal. It is
Tyler Patrick. Sorry, it was delaying for a second. Like you were lagging. I was trying to hear what you were saying. So
yeah, that's all right. I said Superman's number one pal, and when I say Superman, I mean Mr. James Cole.
I mean, yeah, I mean, James is pretty much the
changing the course of mighty rivers.
Where would we be without James Cole? You know,
nowhere. All right, so. Oh, and kids, if you haven't listened yet, because this episode won't hit till January, if you didn't hear, because we'll be recording tomorrow, but it'll hit the podcast way before this. So yeah, go check out our review of the last episode of Superman and Lois.
I know. I'm like scared to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't want it to end.
I'm afraid I was going to end after the end of that last episode.
It was good, but
I just
I just don't want to say goodbye, Phil.
I know. It's only 4 seasons.
I've liked this show a lot.
Me too.
And I mean, and it just ends the era of DC on regular television.
Yep.
You know, it started with basically Smallville, and then, you know, you have Arrow, and not even just the Arrowverse. I mean, talking about Gotham and Constantine and, you know, all the other attempts that have come and gone. Now, the few TV shows are on Max, but they're tied to the movie universes. This is the last real TV series.
I don't know. Yeah, definitely the end of an era. All right, but shall we get to tonight's issues here? Speaking of, in one of these issues, we'll have another star of the Arrowverse.
Dum dum dum.
Well, kind
of. And I was smart this time, based on conversation with Mr. James Cole. You know, and you, I was smart enough to actually go ahead and download the comic issues to my iPad instead of just using them.
Oh, nice.
Because I had issues in the past where it would download, but it wasn't downloading. Like,
yeah.
So it was weird. So I just stopped using that feature, but yeah, so I did for this, and it has seemed to have worked well.
Very good. Yeah, because, I don't know, sometimes it just seems like the app has problems in general.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they need more bandwidth or what, but yeah. All right. Throw the cover up here.
Which one are we doing first?
Action Comics. Action Comics 649, the last part of the Brainiac Trilogy. Yeah, kids, look at that giant skull head. Yeah, George Perez cover. All right. So, Action Comics 649 from January 1990. Man and Machine. Writer Roger Stern. Pencilers George Perez and Terry Gamble. Inker Brett Breeding. Colors Glenn Whitmore. Letterer Bill Oakley. And editors Mike Carlin and Jonathan Peterson. Superman finally discovers where Brainiac is keeping Lex Luthor. Superman arrives in time to see Brainiac reborn in his new body, but is distracted from fighting when he discovers several nuclear devices were planted around Metropolis thanks to Metallo. Though Superman stops any of the devices from detonating, well, in the city, Brainiac escaped from Earth in his new skull ship and sends Superman a final taunting message as he leaves. You know the one, kids. It's basically all the "I'll be back."
Like the classic supervillain of all time.
Exactly. Yeah, because yes, this is the first post-crisis appearance of that skull ship because Brainiac says, "Oh, the design came to me in a dream," because again, this is the ship he used pre-crisis. So we're slowly working more and more pre-crisis stuff back in here.
I like this kind of where they're trying to take this and mold it into more of the Brainiac that we know.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking just, so.
Because, he basically clones himself a new body, but I guess it's closer to his original Kalulian body or whatever. Yeah. So his mental powers are like off the chart now.
And I like how he talks about it like, Kalu this or whatever. And he's like, I'm Viral Drox that came from, And then eventually, if we're just talking Brainiac and we're skipping around here, towards the end when he does bust out he is green.
Mm-hmm.
He has a full, and I like how the artwork is done so he's just covered. But he is all green and he looks like a mixture of classic Brainiac with Milton Fine, which just kind of shows you that like, they couldn't really get away from like classic Brainiac. They had to find a way to kind of pull him back because this Milton Fine angle was just not doing it for him.
Yeah, this is pretty much, I think, the last we see of him is Milton Fine. So, but we had to keep the mustache, the twirl,
Yeah, like I said, like that's your that keeps your Milton Fine alive, and then the rest of it looks more like classic Brainiac. He even almost has the Brainiac logo, the 3.
Oh yeah.
On his head. If you look carefully, the way they draw it, it's like 2.
Yeah.
But then it kind of looks like there's a tiny one at the middle of his forehead.
Yeah, because I think that's the like focus his mental power. Yeah, he's got like the metal skull cap, and then like a little thing that goes onto his back and stuff. Yeah.
And then of course he starts messing with Clark's mind, and it overloads.
Knocks him out.
He needed more power, and he pulled power from the
people he had enslaved. Yeah. But
which is crazy because it really feels like those should have killed them, but it doesn't.
Maybe it was just lucky there were so many of them that
My favorite part though here is we see the skull ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then on page, I don't know what page it is, it's not showing the numbers. It's just like Milton Fine Brainiac's head in the skull ship.
Yeah, on page, I think it's page 20. Yeah, you just see Milton Fine's head. Yeah.
I was like, wait, I was laughing. I was like, wait, did I miss something? I went back. I was like, did he morph into that? But he hid some bombs, and this is where Clark's flying around.
Well, yeah, that's part of what he had Mantella doing, because the ship's leaving Earth, and Superman's like, no, I know you're not leaving, and then he's like, okay, well, here's a choice: you can stop me, or there's 4 randomly planted, nuclear bombs like around Metropolis. He's like, I'll blow up the whole city. I think he even gives him the locations in his mind. He's like, okay, here's the locations, but you don't got time to stop me and keep those bombs from destroying the city. So,
and he finds the bombs and they blow up.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't have time to disarm them. He's like, there's just enough time to grab them all, and he just flies out over the sea. He's like, I just got to get out of town as quick as possible.
Now, let's back up and talk about Lex, who is in a suit, and it's like in a purple suit.
Yeah.
In the science lab, and he breaks free, and we get this nice shot of like his hand in the glove. Then we see his metal hand, and then he's freaking out, and he finds out that he's actually been there for like weeks.
Well, and he thought he was like sitting there watching Brainiac's new body getting grown. He's like, oh no, I'm not just going to sit here. I'm going to stop you. And then he realizes, no, he's just been locked in this room, I guess.
Yeah. And he's like, how long?
Mm-hmm.
He says, of course, you know how powerless you really are. Oh, the procedure I made, you see, is quite real. As a matter of fact, it's been underway for much of the past week while I've toyed with you here.
Mm-hmm.
So, good old poor Lex.
Lex has been here since before Christmas.
He missed Christmas.
I know. He missed his favorite time of year, throwing like widows and orphans out on the street.
Yeah, he like Mr. Potter. Like, It's a Wonderful Life.
Exactly. But yeah, then we see Clark, using his new news time job to like help track down Brainiac.
So let's talk about Mr. Kent here.
Mm-hmm.
He decides to go into the office of his new job. It's snowing in Metropolis, and he gets his big office, and he wanted to come in over the weekend, and he meets his, is it secretary or do they say assistant? I was trying to see what they actually call her. This is Mara Talbot.
He said Colin Thornton says she's one of our executive interns.
Yep. And she shows him around like his high class big desk, and how the person before had their own taste and everything. Admired the 50s executive look, but we can remodel if you like. And he's like, no. Then he gets to work, and then he said he uses his powers on his desk to try to track down Brainiac. Then tells her, have a good evening. I shouldn't be needing you anymore today. Feel free to leave. I can let myself out. And she's like, Kent's certainly a more considerate boss than Thornton, and much nicer to look at.
The devil, you say?
And then of course he goes to fight Brainiac. But this new job, Kent, you weren't thinking too smartly, and we'll talk about that. But,
no, he was thinking logically.
No, he's.
Yeah, this job ain't gonna last long. But I mean, right now it's nice. He has his own office he can change and fly out of.
Yeah, but I'm sure that'll come to bite him in the butt. What could possibly go wrong?
But yeah, I mean, again, Brainiac's mental powers have been boosted. How much can he knocks Superman out? Naked Brainiac knocks out Superman just with them psychic powers. But
that's right, naked Brainiac. So get ready, kids.
Oh yeah. But I like that last page, like after the bombs have like blown up over the sea and stuff. Superman just like pulling himself out of the water.
Like he just looks.
Pissed. Oh yeah, because he's still within range. Brainiac's like, "Can you hear me, Superman? I've enjoyed our little struggle, but do not think it is over. I shall be back. I promise." And Superman's just like, "I'll be waiting, Brainiac. That's my promise."
Yeah, he's like, "I'm gonna get you and your little dog too."
So yeah, I mean that's it. That's a good little wrap up. But we're gonna put Brainiac on the back burner for a while. But don't worry, kids, he'll be back. Don't panic.
Yeah. Don't panic at all. Because we know how much these kids today love this Brainiac.
Oh yeah.
This is the best Brainiac there ever was. Yeah, can't you tell by the excitement in my voice?
Oh my. Yes, I can tell. All right. So yeah, so what'd you think of the wrap up?
It was cool. I mean, it was kind of it's like that where it's not an ending as much as it is the start of a new beginning.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of a promise. It's like when Brainiac comes back, he's going to be more classic Brainiac, closer to classic Brainiac.
You've basically just made him into more classic Brainiac, and that's what you wanted. And okay, here we are. And I'm like, okay.
All right, should we move to the next one and your other favorite, Jimmy Olsen?
Yeah.
Jimmy. All right, kids. So, Superman number 40. Still not a bad cover, but probably my least favorite of these three. All right. So, Superman Volume 2, number 40 from February 1990. Terror on the Streets. Writer and penciler Jerry Ordway, inker Dennis Jank, colorist Glenn Whitmore, letterer John Costanza, and editors Mike Carlin and Jonathan Peterson. The Evil Factory releases a four-armed terror and teleports it to Metropolis. Clark Kent spots the four-armed terror climbing on the Daily Planet, so he confronts it. But this creature has a similar effect on him as kryptonite, making him nauseous and weak. Inside the Daily Planet, Jimmy asks Perry to cover the cost to travel to England to look for his mother. Perry refuses, advising him to call the authorities or even Superman for help. But Jimmy doesn't want Superman's help, so he leaves the building, deciding to go to England on his own. Jimmy finds Superman fighting the four-armed terror on the street. and he recognizes the monster from the time he was caught in Husk's dimension. During the fight, Superman discovers tiny humanoids flying around, transmitting the battle to the evil factory. Makari and Simeon decide to bring the monster back with Olsen too, but Superman saves Jimmy from being teleported alongside the Terror. Superman passes out, weakened by the monster's effect, and Dr. Sanchez treats him at the hospital using an old sample of kryptonite they conserved from a previous incident. The Bloodsport shooting from Superman number 4.
Yeah.
36 issues ago. Morgan Edge, who was bailed out from prison, arrives at the Galaxy Communications building. His lawyer advises blaming Brainiac for his actions in the upcoming trial, claiming he brainwashed him and caused his heart attack, deeming it more believable than saying he was working with gods. Morgan later finds out his father took control of the company while he was in the hospital. So, thoughts? I love the lawyer. He's like, yeah. Use the Brainiac excuse. I worked for Lex Luthor. And I'll lawyer for you.
I just think that, man, I don't know what to think. So the 4-armed creature in the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, it was a decent adversary for Superman, but why was he allergic to it?
Yeah, and like this whole like even at the start of the episode when you have the scientist.
Mm-hmm.
And they come across like the...
Oh, yeah, they're looking for kryptonite, yeah.
And they find like, I don't know, what would you call these, like, cavemen wannabes?
Oh, yeah, the evil factory, basically. Yeah, 60s, like, I guess they grew, like, almost like these cavemen or something, yeah. These Neanderthals.
So, like, just this whole evil factory thing just, it's not doing it for me, you know?
Yeah, I mean, again, and it's like, it's not even like a complete story, because, again, it's like, they were grown, I guess, by Dabney Donovan, who we really haven't really got much to do with yet. Well, we will later on, but yeah, the whole thing, again, this isn't my first time reading this, but like the whole Jimmy and his dad and like and all that stuff, it never did anything for me. I'm just like, okay, next. Especially when Jimmy's all like, ungrateful to basically everybody.
Mm-hmm. And I find it more interesting when we get Clark, like, back in his office. He's missing a staff meeting, and he's questioning himself, like, is it the right thing taking this job, and then it's only like one page of this is his job, and then he's out to stop the things on top of the Daily Planet, and then we have Jimmy out there battling this thing. And I'm just kind of like, so I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah. And if Jimmy wasn't enough, we have to have at least one page of Jerry White being like, they gave away my room to the copy girl.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, aren't you an adult, or didn't you want to be the big man on your own?
And Jimmy Olsen with the eye patch.
Oh, trying to, psych the thing out, making it think it's his father, yeah.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like, I don't know. This issue just was not doing it for me.
But yeah, I do like, me neither. But like, I do like Clark in his office, but I don't know. Would Clark be the type to like just put up his feet at work and stuff? Like,
no, because I just feel like Clark's smarter than this.
And it looks like he's resting his legs on the keyboard. I wouldn't think that was comfortable, or stuff would be jumping all over the computer screen.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's just not like, I don't know. This was just, there's a lot going on in this, so it's just kind of like odd.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know about this Mora, man. I mean, she's taking business casual a little too far.
Yeah. But I mean, it is a different place, different office environment. She's going to give Cat Grant a run for her money.
And then this random woman we've never seen at the planet before, basically, when she sees the monster, basically just grabs her chest. There's a monster outside the window!
Yeah. Peg. Like, oh, call me Peg. Oh, honey, this is Metropolis. Get used to it.
Cat, yeah.
She must have just got hired.
Oh, honey, I don't know if you're going to make it in this town, or I wouldn't go to Gotham either.
She's like, that's it. I'm leaving for Gotham.
But yeah, I do love the Morgan Edge stuff. Because the lawyer's like, yeah, blame it on Brainiac. He's like, Superman literally caught you with your hand on the controls of the turmoil robot. Yeah, no. Brainiac was controlling you and then gave you a heart attack. And then, then he finds out his dad, Vinny's, taking over the company back over. But he's not as nice as he seems to be, kids.
It's true.
But yeah, basically, again, like, this issue is Superman getting his butt kicked by this terror. But, and it's like, he was the doctor's like, oh, it's almost like he had an allergic reaction to it. Why? Was there kryptonite in there? Was it sweating kryptonite? Well, they never explained that.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, you say he's only like kryptonite or magic, and
I'm trying to remember if they explained it in a future issue, but it's like, well,
because even like when he gets hurt by like the weapons of the gods, it kind of falls into the magic category.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
And then we see these two have Jimmy's mother hot prisoner. So,
and Jimmy is trying to go find his mom.
Yeah, I think we kind of deal with some of this after Krypton Man. So, but then Jimmy wants to jump in after the terror as it's like teleporting away. It's like, yeah, good idea. By yourself, good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to I don't know how to properly say it, but yeah.
Yeah. Again, I don't think the Superman title's been lighting us up lately. So. Although I do like at the end, when Superman's like, oh, if there's anything I could do, Doctor, in the Doctor space, basically just like, could visit the children's cancer ward. He's like, yeah,
He's like, okay.
He goes, I'd be happy to. I'm like, I don't know if you want to use the word happy when you're visiting a children's cancer ward.
He's like, no, I will not visit no children.
Yeah, how's that for an ending? Yeah, let's go visit some kids with cancer. How about let's go visit the children patients, let's visit the dying children. But yeah, no, this one again, from cover to cover. Yeah, this issue is my least favorite this time. So, I mean, the art's good. Again, Jerry Ordway, great artist. But yeah, I'm not digging this Jimmy stuff. Don't touch Jimmy. All right, ready to do the last one?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so, all right, kids, got a big return, got a big guest star. Yeah. All right, so
this one's the one I waited for.
Yes. And again, it's another homage to the Silver Age when it was Barry Allen, but this time, yes, Superman's racing Wally. Adventures of Superman 463 from February 1990. Speed kills. Writer and penciler Dan Jurgens. Inker art.
And the man.
That's right. Art Thiebaud, inker, colorist Glenn Whitmore, letterer Albert de Guzman, and editors Mike Carlin and Jonathan Peterson. Flash finds Mr. Mxyzptlk carving his head on the Mount Rushmore. The little imp finds out Flash is super fast and asks if he is faster than Superman. Flash says he doesn't know since they never raced. And that gives Mr. Mxyzptlk the idea for a scheme. He then vanishes to Metropolis and takes Flash with him. Mr. Mxyzptlk hacks into News Times computers and announces the event of a lifetime, a race between Superman and the Flash. Clark runs from his office and takes off to Metropolis Stadium. There, Mxyzptlk forces Superman to comply and complete the race, saying that's the only way to make him return to his dimension. Superman accepts the terms but claims it's an unfair match since Wally is not as fast as the previous Flash, provoking Wally, who decides to participate in the race to prove he's the fastest man alive. To ensure Superman doesn't use his flight, Mxyzptlk creates a green carpet and makes the rule that both should run on it. Once set, the race begins. The people near the racetrack hand the runners some food to help them keep their energy. Flash asks Superman why he doesn't eat, and Superman explains that his Kryptonian cells absorb and burn solar energy instantly without the need to eat food. During the race, Mr. Mxyzptlk encounters Lex Luthor looking for kryptonite. The imp offers Lex a sample of red kryptonite. We're about 10 months too early, but Lex rejects it, saying it's worthless because it's the wrong color. Lex leaves the field and Mxyzptlk drops the red kryptonite on the floor before leaving. Mxyzptlk keeps putting traps on the racetracks, but both runners manage to beat them. Exhausted, they get to the final stretch of the race, and with some last effort and impulse, Flash crosses the goal first. This confuses the frustrated Mxyzptlk since he was expecting Superman to win. he reveals he set up a false deal that he was only planning on leaving if Superman lost the race. Staying true to his rules, the little imp leaves Earth. Flash is convinced Superman let him win, but Superman tells him that he won fair and square, that he is truly the fastest man alive. And again, this is an homage to Superman Volume 1, number 199. Which is weird, because I'm like, if this was 199, shouldn't it have just been issue 200?
I mean...
And you could have had, like, a ton of, like, superhero guest stars, and...
I mean, things that you would think, right? That sometimes just don't make sense, but...
Yeah. And again, it's so weird, too, which I thought, because, like, Mxyzptlk's like, oh, Lex taught me to lie, so, yeah, I lied. But I'm like, did he ever come out and say, hey, Superman, you have to win the race so for me to leave? I don't think he ever actually said that. No. It almost like Superman assumed, but I'm just like, I don't think Mixie ever said the actual thing. He wasn't like, oh, you have to win. Which, again, I don't know if it's so weird because maybe they did that so Flash wasn't like, oh, hey, well, I can't win or else we're never going to get rid of him. So,
I mean, it's weird. Like, okay, so I just like, in this issue, it's Wally versus Superman, and I kind of wish it wasn't mixed because I feel like they're just layering a lot of story on this. But if it would just been like, because we know that there's times that the Flash and Superman would race for charity or just race, and it could have been something where they're just racing again. But
yeah, it seemed like, I mean, again, Wally does have an ego at this point in his history, but I'm just like, it almost seems like it. And again, I guess Superman believes that if he wins, Mxyzptlk's going to win. But again, it should have been like a bigger threat. Like each guy thinks, I have to win this or whatever bad is going to happen. Mxyzptlk stays or something else happens.
Especially like when he separates them to make them kind of run away from each other instead of right next to each other. But, it is what it is. But I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes they just make the stories overly complicated, but I would have liked, like you just said, if Mixie had tricked each one into believing they had to win.
Because they're really pushing themselves by the end, so I'm just like, yeah.
I mean, they are, Superman's at one point talks about needing, doesn't need to eat, he absorbs the radiation. We see Wally, when it starts, he's eating at Big Belly Burger and talks about, stock in the company. And then as it goes on, we see him getting drinks and stuff from people who are watching them go by.
Yeah, because this was before the Speed Force. So basically, Wally has to eat like millions of calories a day.
I mean, even with the Speed Force, I still like the idea that they're burning energy and have to eat a lot. Like I just think that's a fun, little thing for the Flash to constantly have to have a snack or food with him at all times.
Yeah, and it's like a weakness too. It's not just like, oh yeah, I can I can run through time, just for the heck of it. It's like, well, yeah, I better have Thanksgiving dinner first.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be crappy like the way they did it in the Flash movie.
Yeah,
where I'm gonna eat this burrito and chug this drink and a candy bar, and all of a sudden I'm good.
And throw babies in microwaves.
So, but we digress.
Exactly. Oh, and then what about Lois is watching the race on TV with her sister, and she's like, oh, I miss Clark. I didn't realize until he was gone. I miss Clark.
See, I like that. I like...
no, they're sitting there. It's
she's talking about it, missing him. But, it's... And then Mixie creating the red kryptonite was like, okay, where's this going to go? Because you already have... excuse me. Superman and Flash, tiring themselves out. You have all the other heroes and stuff, people watching from around the world, like on TV, watching them. And like you have Blue Beetle and
but Justice League and Justice League Europe are watching.
Yeah. I like this issue, but there's a lot going on besides just the race. I mean, Mixie's popping in and out. You have the Lois stuff, people being interviewed about what they think, other people watching them. And then, like you said, the red kryptonite that shows up that's not really utilized in the story. And then you have Emil Hamilton watching. You have
Colin Thornton's like, where the biggest story ever? Where's Kent at?
Yeah, like we have the Daily Planet watching.
We got Joan Garrick watching. Yeah.
Who we have Mom, Pa, and Lana.
Mm-hmm.
Blonde Lana and redheaded Lois because I can't keep anybody straight. But
Connie, who Wally was dating at the time, and
yep.
Connie, her and Linda at the same time. Yeah. Jose's watching.
And Superman even makes comments in here that's kind of condescending towards Wally. So I kind of wish we got more with him where he talks about, well, Barry always did this, or Barry this, or I thought I would win. I thought this. And I'm like, it just seems like,
yeah,
it's really Superman versus a kid Flash. And I'm like, dude, he's a grown man. Like,
yeah, that is so weird. Well, again, other people have said that too, but yeah, it was weird coming from Superman. But just the things when he's just saying, "Oh, Flash is only human," how is he still going? Again, I mean, I guess you could chalk this up to some little Eradicator influence, maybe.
Okay, works for me.
At least the point as points where he's like, he's only human. That's what I was getting. I was like, okay.
I mean, he's human, but he's had super speed. I mean, he's a meta-human, so I mean, there's still something going on. But I think one of the biggest things in this is back to Clark in his job having the meeting, and he's talking about we have to be better. Who needs it? Great creative, take chances. One more thing, don't call me chief. Haha, it's kind of funny, And then Mixie pops up, and you heard him say it was the biggest thing since the original sin. This is more important. And then we have Thornton yelling, managing editors do not cover stories themselves, Kent. And, Kent takes off. He's on the roof changing. So right there, red flag, Kent, this is not a good job for you to take.
Well, again, I think that's that Eradicator influence. But I want to know why Clark was dressed like Larry King. He has the suspenders.
Oh, my gosh. that is so true. Like, maybe he's just trying to look, now that he's managing editor, he's got to wear suspenders and stuff. He can't just be wearing a suit. He's got to take it up a notch.
That is weird. The suspender look.
I do like in comics, though, sometimes where you have heroes who end up crossing paths with other heroes' villains.
Oh, yeah.
Because it makes an interesting story because they don't know the tropes. They don't know of everything, So...
Oh, that was the best thing in this era over at Marvel, Acts of Vengeance, when a bunch of villains just got together and just started throwing different villains at every hero. People were fighting people they never fought before. Okay, yeah. Maybe my favorite panel from this issue, just the look on Superman's face when Mixie's got his hand on his chest, his arm around his neck.
It's great. The art is amazing.
Oh, yeah, I love the art in this, yeah. Again, this is a strong contender for that George Perez issue. That's a hard act to follow. Yeah, and that's, Dan Jurgens. Yeah, well, Dan Jurgens and Art Thibert. Yeah. But I don't know. I just think the whole thing with the, Superman is saying, oh, no, it's more like racing Kid Flash and stuff, and all the stuff he's saying, like I said, between the Eradicator influence, and I don't know if, Dan Jurgens was going overboard and trying to show, Superman's not, taking it easy on him. Superman's not, letting him win.
Mm-hmm. My favorite is later, when trying to remember, it was in Michael Straczynski's Superman Grounded. He runs into Flash and they're talking, and it just it makes me smile because Flash says, Clark, I let you win. Those were for charity. Sometimes I let you in just to make it interesting. He's like, do you really think you could beat me? I'm like, yeah, see, that's the Flash that I know.
And again, it's both their powers increased over time because, again, they're barely keeping up with each other now. But again, eventually, once he gets connected to the Speed Force, I mean, Wally can be able to move at light speed. So it's but Superman's powers increased too. They kind of powered everyone down right after Crisis, but slowly they'll get stronger. So yeah, Wally wins by a nose. Mixie Flash what? But yeah, then they got sent. Mixie swears. Consarnate. Bleep. Flash one. But he said, and again, that's the other thing. I don't know if they like changed this story at some point, because it's like Mixie's like, oh yeah, last time I was here, Lex lied to me, and I was trying to do a lie because I'm not a good liar. But I'm like, the lie, you had to come out and say something. He actually didn't come out and say. All he said is, you guys have to race for me to go back to the,
Mm-hmm. And did he like set up how far the race was?
Well, he said, I think he said 1 lap around the world. So
okay.
But again, I don't think he ever comes out and says, Superman, you have to win for me to leave.
I feel like it took him a little long too. Like,
but again, at this point, Flash and Superman can't go like the speed of light. I think Hamilton said they go maybe like a couple times the speed of sound.
Speed of sound.
Yeah. So that's about what Wally was able to do at this point.
So I mean, it is interesting, but.
But I guess it was easier at this point too, because again, the speeds they can hit at like these days, this race would be over in like 3 seconds.
Oh, I know. That's why I was like, now they're like, yeah, that was a waste of our time. What are we doing?
And then Mixie were like, the track goes underwater, and the Flash is like, well, I'm just going to run on top of the water because, like, I can't hold my breath or breathe underwater.
Yeah, and then Superman's like, I can't run underwater. And I was like, the Flash was running on top of the water, I thought,
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope he doesn't get in trouble for going off the course. And I was like, okay, who's going to get him in trouble? I'm like, wait.
Well, Mixie, but he was just like, no, he's like, that's fine. His feet never left the water.
Mixie's like, I'm making up the rules as you go. Like, he literally tells them that. He's like, yes, and I'm making stuff up as you go.
But yeah, after his last appearance, and then like here, I don't know if Mixie is like Superman's villain or Lex's villain. He's like discovered he loves tormenting Lex, I think, almost more now. Because again, Superman will play along a little bit. Lex is just like, no. Because like here, Mixie turns to the kryptonite red, and he's just like, that's useless. Let's get out of here.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
But no, this was probably the best one this week.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Followed by the Brainiac, because we're finally going to get like a classic Brainiac. It's going to be big when he comes back, kids.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, anything else, Tyler?
Nope.
All right. So let me open the schedule for next time. I know what we're doing. Let me just get the issue numbers here. Because we're gonna start Day of the Krypton Man. We're gonna next 2 episodes, because you get 3 episodes this month. So because kids, the next 2 episodes, you're gonna get the return of the Eradicator, Draga, and Justin the Owl.
Justin the Owl.
That's right.
No, that can't be.
That legendary figure, Justin the Owl.
It's me, your old pal, the Owl.
Good. Old pal, get back here.
Cannot wait for him to give me that. At the end of every year, like after his birthday, he buys a bunch of like comic books and stuff. Can't wait for another drunken unboxing video, because that's where most of his drops come from.
That's the best.
I know. Oh yeah. So for the next 2 this month, Justin will be joining us. He'll be joining us for 1 of the 2 next month. Might even be able to get him in here for Dark Knight over Metropolis when someone shows up in March. When a certain someone shows up in March.
Batman, my favorite character.
Whoa. Surprise.
Exactly. All right. So, yes, next time we'll do Day of the Krypton Man. Oh, we're already going to be Action Comics 650, Superman 41, and Adventures of Superman 464. Like I said, and Justin will be joining us. And then part 2, the week after, will be Action Comics 651 and 652, Superman 42, and Adventures of Superman 465. Again, kids, Superman's been a little off again, and we'll find out why.
It's because Jimmy just not being his pal.
Yeah, that attitude. All right, so send us your thoughts. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes Lunatics episodes, social media, merchandise. Get brand new Capes Lunatics merch, the classic Capes Lunatics merch. And again, you can rain random money on us through our Cash App link. And there is the Patreon again. Help support us that way. Lilith and I give you exclusive, uncensored content every month. And if you're a patron, you can suggest topics for us to review, like Justin has done a few times. So, again, tell us what to do. But you can find, subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/CapesandLunatics, and you can find everything at tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. It's tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network.
More vicious and brutal than ever.
All right. And you can find our other hero, Mr. Tyler Patrick, here on the Krypton Report. Correct, Tyler?
Oh, yeah. You can find the Krypton Report on all your favorite social media platforms. As we dive in, we have a whole... By the time this airs, we will have kicked off 2025. And it's a new year. We're doing our show a little different, the way we're rotating episodes.
Ooh.
So it'll be a fun time.
Nice. And by we, he means himself and that force of nature, Mr. James Cole.
You know, the man is the mighty.
That's right.
He never understands all of the greatness that he gets when he's not here with us.
I know. We need some more James Cole. All right, kids. So yes, and again, I believe you guys are doing a wrap up of Superman and Lois, also, correct?
We are.
So yeah. Again, by the time this episode comes out, the one on this feed will be out. The one on Krypton Report will be out. So go check them out. And again, we're just talking about Superman and Lois because again, while we're recording this, it's fresh.
It's just. Yeah, I'm about to say it just ended, and I am trying to avoid any spoilers.
Exactly. No social media. All right, kids. Thank you for joining us. Again, 1 week. Day of the Krypton Man Part 1 and the return of Justin the Owl.
It's a lot of awesomeness.
Hootie's going to be back. Oh my lord!
Good.
Oh my lord! We're gonna be he's gonna be joining us, me and Ray, monthly now for like Scarlet Spider episodes and stuff. Lil's like, you have to name that Hootie and his blowfish. I'm like,
I'm about to say, can I start calling him Hootie?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. It just makes me think of Casper, the movie.
Yeah, he laughs every time. He'll like pop on. I'll be like. To record. I'm like, what up, Hootie? All right, kids, come back next time. Remember to join us for truth, justice, and the mullet.